go. I'm sure you're seeing something up on your screen, yo. I'm trying to get everything situated. We're trying to get things aligned, get everything headed and rated because we're across multiple platforms. I don't know where you're at seeing this right now, but wherever it may be, just listen to it a little bit longer. Somehow, we're almost through. Why does it seem to be taking longer than usual? Oh no, is it true? Are we here? Can it be that you're just waiting for a little old me to simply say this last little bit? Well, it might just be welcome to the show. Alright, so I'm 3D, and yes, you see what it says up there at the top, and it is going to be space traveling. Yes, productive Linux options. Not everybody wants to use Linux, but what if I told you there's like two simple flavors that could help you be more productive without losing whatever operating system is currently on your device? Like how your today's sponsor, can help you hold your passwords and crypto keys without placing new applications on your computer or device. So let me just bring that up real fast. Do. Yeah, that's right. Our sponsor is Shieldfolio. Go ahead and scan that QR right there to get uh, your Shieldfolio. Use the code BitcoinLive20 to get 20% off today when you purchase your new Shieldfolio. This is going to allow you to write your codes, your keys, your passwords, and even your passwords and login information for different websites, all into stone paper. That's right. Hard, no, it's anti-tear resistant, something like that. You can't wash it off. It's good to go. They even have a UV pin to help you hide your private keys if you want. Um, right there, and of course, we always have the Q on the side if you just want to pick yours up anytime during the show. Alright, now, today I want to show you two very specific flavors of Linux. Um, but we have to just roll it in as we roll in without the roll-ins. Oh heck yeah, thank you again, Shieldfolio, for sponsoring today's episode. And I think they're pretty much the sponsor for the whole network as well, which is awesome, helps us continue on. So, like I said, two very special flavors of Linux is what I want to show you. Before we go into that though, what I'm really getting at is that these are like Linux operating systems, but they're not just like your ordinary Linux, okay? So I'm not going to be here to show you, hey look, Arch Linux is the way to go or something. Um, I'm just simply going to show you um, a new way to preserve or to perceive Linux and preserve what you already have and like. This is like another way to separate your personal and your work. Um, if you want to look at it in that way, at the moment I am getting the YouTube chat popped in. So if you guys give me just a couple more seconds, I'll get that situated. I was trying to figure out how to get the Twitter chat in here for one of these times. And that's going to be a little bit more difficult, so I'm going to have it full screened on a screen in order to get that to happen. Okay, it does look like if you go to YouTube now, from wherever you're at, you should be able to chat with us. So we're going to go into the full show. Let's just go into it because we are talking about Linux. This can be scary for some of you, and I don't want to actually scare you. I want you guys to see what's going on. Alright. Nope, that's not. Sorry, I feel like I am a little bit off kiltered a little bit. There we go. Whoa, what the heck? Alright, that's unfortunate. It does look like one of my screens had moved. Well, we're gonna have to just keep it See if we can get to it. There we go. Alright, so, sorry. We're going to pull up these QRs. We're going to get everything going. Oh, I knew something was wrong there. Throughout the episode, you'll see a QR pop up in the top right, and when you see that pop in, you can scan that and join in at any point in time. So this is Linux, okay? I don't want you guys to be scared. I'm just going to be outright. Here's Linux. It's like a family of operating systems from the left to the right. You see what you see. Now, I want to show you a different way to perceive this. We want to look at this differently. We're going to take the medical adhesive strip off very quickly because much like how you have different versions of Windows and Apple, Mac, that's not the same as like Linux. You know, like you have different versions of Ubuntu. That's kind of like Windows. You have different versions of Slackware. That's very similar to like Apple's different versions because they're so different, unique each time. So each one here with Linux works and looks differently. Just because, you know, it's Linux, it doesn't all mean that they're the same. They have this big, huge customizability model designed with inside of them, allowing you to really change the OS to suit your needs, which is why there's so many different kinds. It's not just like a plug and play whatever you get to really play with what you have. So with Windows and Mac, you really only get what they offer. You can only plug and play with what you get. So there's some changes for you to think about right there. Now, many of the considered not acceptable by the OS maker like Microsoft and Macintosh, like with Linux though, it's nothing like that. Like some of the stuff you might plug and play in those other operating systems could get you in trouble, but with Linux, it's pretty much up to you to do, so almost anything is available for the table. And that's kind of what it's going to be. So I want to show you, alright, I'm going to show you Linux again. So this is not actually Linux, this is technically like tree node. If you don't know what it is, it's like a very large light map of our known universe. So this is, a tree node contains many superclusters of multiple superclusters of galaxies. And again, this is just a different way to look at our known universe. This is the light method, the way to look at to the light. Here's a different way to look at our known universe. So, yeah, I'm going to get to the Linux thing. Just give me a second. But let me state it like this. What if, okay, the Linux operating systems is kind of like sections of our known universe. They will make up, it makes more sense this way. Like, if you look at this picture above me, there's a bunch of superclusters. You can see them all written around me. They say different things, right there and right there. They say things, those different superclusters and things that we can see from our spot on Earth. And that's how this mapping comes to be. Now I'm going to show you this mapping differently. Because that's what this, we're showing you one thing and we're going to change it and show you it differently. So here we go. We have the mapping we had before, that little globe-like thing. Now it's a much more three-dimensional ball. And if we really look into this ball, there's actually like one side of it that's like really super extended. It's got a tangent, and that tangent is actually just meaning that we've been in that direction more than any of the other directions, or we can see more in that direction than any other direction. And so let's say that little tangent over there, that's Linux, bro. Dead serious. Just the little tangent right above my head is Linux, okay? Now the B above my head is actually that's a base B. It's the little Lux above my shoulder who's actually a Linux. So don't be confused when I say it for the picture above my head. Okay, so here is another look at a galaxy. Of course, you see this says Galactic Map 3.0, blah, blah, blah. It's got a bunch of little points on here. Now, you see that little thing that says above me? It says the Sun, Orion Spur, the Milky Way galaxy, and it points to a tiny little dot right over around this area or whatever. Well, that Orion Spur is the arm in our galaxy that we're in, and it's pointing to where our actual point of the galaxy that we live in, this Milky Way galaxy, which is what we're looking at, is that. And if you see, there's a bunch of other things all around us that we can see that it's got pointing out different stars and things. So this is just a flat map of the universe. While before we were seeing like a flat map turned into 3D. So what do you think is going to happen next? We're going to probably go into a 3D, huh? Now, actually, we're going to stay into more classical style mapping. So all the ones before this show you very exact detail. They're very detailed. Like, for example, this one has a lot of really good detailable information, and it kind of looks like a pigsty, doesn't it? So going to this one, this is not in detail. This is more like in retrospect of a perspective to make more sense of. So in this picture, if we cut it in the middle, everything on the right of this picture is considered the past. And everything on the left of this picture is considered the present or the current. Okay? Now I want that to be a very idealistic approach to this, okay? The past still there. We can see it, we can absorb it, we can see it's going on. So it might not be our past, but it is a past, and we can look into it. And then as we get further to the middle, it's closer to the current, and as we get closer to the left, it gets closer to actual now, or it is actual now. So I want to point that out because the very next picture is gonna it's gonna make this make sense very quick. This I don't have a link for is the observable Linux universe. And it doesn't cover everything. This isn't here to like show absolute all possible Linux things available. And this is gonna make a little more sense. So this is the observable. So this is stuff we can see from our point. And you see our point on here is Ubuntu. Where Earth was is now in Ubuntu. We got a little Tails moon. We got a bunch of these little Ubuntu flavors behind, kind of above me and behind me, which is our known actual little cluster universe. And then we have out here, we have other different ones, Gentoo, Fedora, Ubuntu. We got this PC thing, we got the Star, Mandala, whatever. We got Arch, Fedora. We got the old C, I don't remember what the heck name is, it's Chamra, blah, blah, blah. Linksphere, we got the really crazy penguin guy, I don't remember the name of that one. We got the Dolphin, Slackware, Gentoo, Debian, we got Lux way over there, and as you see, he's on my shoulder. Look, the galaxy of Linux. If we go to the past, we got Lux and all these other things that you probably recognize in those names, like Debian, Slackware, Gentoo, Red Hat, Arch. Then when we get into the more current stuff, you know, we got the chameleon, I forgot the heck, OpenSUSE, Fedora, Ubuntu, these other little ones down here, the PC one, and then we got these little ones up here. So we're going to be talking about the ones in our super local cluster. The ones right above my head, right over to the side with the big old Ubuntu Earth. Alright? That's what I want you guys to think about, because if you really want to learn about all the Ubuntu flavors, I'd have to show you, we'd have to like present you to someone else with a little bit more educational information about that. So I would like you to, if you want to learn more about just all the flavors Ubuntu has, you can go to this video and learn exactly that. I'm going to cover, like I said, specifically 2 versions in the observable Linux universe, because these are going to allow you to have productivity without changing anything. Okay? I mean, this is really what I'm going to try to get into, is because, again, we're going to do this in a manner where we can preserve whatever we have and what we like. So this will allow us to keep what we already got and then expand with options using Linux. That's something you always see everyone say, oh, change my daily driver, change my daily driver. What about just expanding your daily options with Linux? Expanding your productivity with Linux. That's the ideal today. Using Linux as a tool. Oh. Oh. So here we go. All the Ubuntu flavors. Let me get you that QR real fast. We have the actual site right here of the Ubuntu flavors. So as we go through, you can see they got all these different names, different cool features. We're going to be looking at, this is one of the ones that we're going to be looking at right here, Kubuntu, and if we keep going, we can find the other one. But that's not, I just want you guys to have this option. This is a great place to go. Not everybody knows Ubuntu has a bunch of different flavors or different versions that they can choose from. And I just wanted to give you this as like a resource. Oh, skipped ahead, my bad. So here is a wiki for the Ubuntu flavors, and I prefer this a little bit more for like the actual information, but a lot of people are going to prefer the other one. So this one I like because, as you see here, it kind of keeps stuff simple of what things are, what's available. So as we see in Ubuntu, we have the Ubuntu desktop, a live feature, and a ship live feature. Ship live means I can just use it off of a thumbstick or something. I don't have to install it in order to use it, right? So we have these two different versions. I can install live, or I can run live, or we can do desktop. And actually, we want Ubuntu live. We want to make sure anything we have, it has Ubuntu, or it has this live thing in there. That's going to allow us to do what we're going to do. So here's Ubuntu, the education one, Xubuntu, Studio. This is the other one we're going to look at. We're going to look at Studio. Okay, if you notice, Studio has plugins, automatic. It's got live feature. It's even got a DVD live feature. So you could actually have this one in your DVD drive. If I got an external DVD drive, so a lot of people do nowadays. And you can have one set up as a USB drive. And then, like my computer checks USB first. Hey, do I need to run off USB? It checks USB. If not, then it goes to its main disk. You could have it go, hey, do I got something in USB? If not, go check DVD. If not, go to disk. And the whole point behind that is, like, I can turn on and on. I plug my USB and my DVD drive to a little USB like hub, and it has power on there, so I can turn on and off each one individually, so I can choose when they're talking to the computer, when they're not. So if I just turn on the one I want to make sure it plugs into, run into that feature, it will just go through the list, and it will just play whichever one's first. So me, I do Ubuntu Studio and DVD, and then I do Kubuntu in the USB, and I haven't been doing this for long. I've just been playing with it, and it was working. So I was like, I need to just tell you guys how to do this quick, because it's going to be worth it. It's going to change your productivity quite a bit. You're going to see yourself off social media more often. Now, remember this picture. If you watched my previous episode, you would have saw this in the previous episode. This is a very generic way of setting up a partition mapping, and a way to set up your thumbstick to actually contain an entire operating system. So it's got an ISO file, which has, so it's basically a thumbstick cut in half. It's got two sets of storage. As we see, one is just a shrunk native partition of anywhere between 1 or 6 or more gigabytes. I recommend 100 gigabytes for a native partition. It's going to allow the computer to talk to the thumbstick, like the hardware. So it's also going to allow any operating system to talk to that thumbstick and hardware. And then another partition, which is the operating system and the operating system's memory. Something that you can't access just from the thumbstick, something you have to be in that thumbstick's operating system to access. It allows you to have some actual secure memory, as well as unsecure memory, technically, being that one that can go between things. This also allows you to pass information from your internal hard drive when it's not running, and like while it's running, you have the internal hard drive running on and with the internal operating system on your thumbstick running, you can get stuff set up so when it's not on, you can still access certain files that you need to share. So it allows you to have a share system natively without like turning on share, link, and blah, 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 blah. Super handy, okay? I personally have a 32 gigabyte one that we're going to refactor, because my 128 gigabyte, I'm still trying to put Windows on. So my 38 gigabyte is about to get a fresh new, brand new install of Ubuntu, and unfortunately, because the first time I did it, I just threw it all on there, because I need to give it a persistent memory between the two, not just a persistent memory between the operating system. So we're going to switch over. Okay, so here is a feature tour of Ubuntu. This is going to explain why Ubuntu is my USB starter up. So I'm actually planning on maybe, potentially, if I can get a couple of programs to actually work on this one, might actually replace my entire Windows operating system with this. I want to get no operating system on my hardware. I want to only run off of like thumbsticks and such. And as you can see, this is a mimic of Windows. And I say mimic of Windows, I mean kind of older Windows. They say this one also mimics Windows 10 and 11. I think it mimics more like Windows 98 better. It has good amount of adjustability and changeability. It's got internet resource set up. You can see here, like, open and read documents easily, browse your images, browse your files. So file browser, image browser, work studio. Then it's got like the internet. This right here. So I use IRC like all the time. It is probably my main communication device, and the sad part is, like, if you talk to me on social media, you probably don't have any IRC chat blog with me. And that's the sad part, because it's like not enough people use IRC. Well, here it is. Boom, built in. This is going to allow me to talk to all my work partners faster. That's who I'm talking to through IRC. People who were doing, dev communications in order to figure out a solution for a problem, or trying to figure out how to get this JavaScript thing to work like it's supposed to, or how to get this implication of Python to go onto the flipper from a JavaScript implication that was written like 3 or 4 years ago. Like, things like that. This makes it super easy. And this right here removes the need of me to have to go to social media to try to contact a dev. Now, I just hit them up on IRC where they're most likely already at. Boom. But don't get me wrong. I use the VLC player on my native device. Here it is natively in Ubuntu, ready for you. Even music, you get that old-fashioned feel, and I have tons of songs just sitting on a hard drive locally from my computer. So, yeah, they even got the Office suite, so you got that LibreOffice, everything you're going to need right here. So that's the whole reason and rhyme for Ubuntu. It's very similar to Windows at that productivity level. It's really about doing the old-fashioned way. What is up, Brosiv? Thank you, Nick, for the comment. You rock. Thank you. You rock too, as well, my friend. Also, the Stone Book rocks, literally with rock paper. Okay, so I am yes. We need to tell you. Okay, so basically, here's how you get it. I don't want to just, we're not going to just bring you up here and show this in front of your face and not tell you how to directly get it. Here's how you get it. Ubuntu download. So basically, the things we want to point out is these LTS, meaning long-term support. So long-term support. So basically, when an operating system under Linux is made, the people who make it, they normally get a grant to try to do some support for it, especially if people like it. It goes into beta, people try it, people love it. Hey, cameras, look at me. Woohoo! There we go. So what they do is they go, how much money can we get to provide X amount of support? So when you buy your Windows or you buy your Apple, your Macintosh, those operating systems they offer are long-term support. They tend to support that for an X length of time. Like, for example, Windows 10 support is about to end, which is why I'm looking at just changing to an operating system that has support. I can still get drivers made for my operating system. Ubuntu might be my choice. I'm not even sure yet. But if we look, each one of these Ubuntu versions are slightly different, and each one has different support, meaning each one came out at a different time. So, for example, say you try the first one, 2404 LTS, most recent, and something about it just don't work right. You go back and you try the 2204. Something about it, maybe that don't work right. Fine, go back to the 2310, and maybe that one works. Eventually, when this around July 2024, this one will be replaced. Believe it or not, technically, this one has already been replaced right up here with Ubuntu 24, which means that in April 2025, there will be another replacement for this. So even if you're using Ubuntu 2310 and you go past your range of actual support, well, that's fine. You got another one around the corner. Common. Or you could try to figure out what driver you're missing, re-download these, run them live, get them working right, and then install. That's the beauty of live. Getting it on the USB, running it live. We kind of briefed over the ideal of that in the last episode, and so in this episode we're really digging in deep into this concept. But we're going to keep moving on because, like I said, 2 flavors of Linux. Here's the other one, Studio. As you see, this is designed around content creation without price. This is anybody who's ever been like, bro, I want to get into the content inspiration, but everything costs so damn much. Bro, there's a free option for you, and it's an operating system. This comes in pre-installed with tons of applications you're going to need. It's going to be tons of stuff. Everything you see in this floating picture beside me, that's everything you can do with this operating system. That's music, that's editing, that's audio editing, that's script editing, that's videos, looks like writing, recording, video editing, podcasts, live actual music recording, painting, probably photoshops, and I see all sorts of stuff going on in here. I can't name them all. That's why we got this whole thing right down here. Now, if you see right on their main page, there's the download button. It's right behind my head. My big old head's in the way. There's a download button. Look at that. Wow. Now, my thingy says to come up here by features. Look at this. They set it up into 4 easy groups. Audio is the first one. Wow. Now, they have like some really like applications I've never heard of. And applications I thought they were just lost in time are in here. Graphics. I know there's a lot of graphics artists. It's like one of the things nowadays. I've never heard of Krita. Everybody knows what Blender is, but I've never heard of Krita. And it seems to be quite well, especially for like when comic book cartoonists that want us to do straight 2D. Inkscape, everyone loves Inkscape. Yeah, GIMP, everyone loves GIMP. Yeah. Pixel Pro, Pixel. What? I've never heard of this. I'm surprised I've never seen this. I love voxel art, and you're telling me there's a full pixel art editor that I've never freaking heard of built into this studio, built into an operating system, built into the operating system. I can't even understand. My brain is exploding inside as I'm trying to figure out why someone would do this, and all I can think of is they want productivity better than anybody else. So whoever made this ideal of an entire operating system designed to just do what you need to do for work. You can turn any computer into a work computer by plugging in a thumbstick with this in there or a DVD with this in there and booting it up. And then boom, anything is your, well, okay, up to, you gotta have a certain amount of specs or else some of these features might not work so well. But, okay, so here's Photoshop, photography. I've never heard of Darktable either. I don't know. There's more. I like paint.net. I think we've talked about that before. So, video. KdenLive, most common. OBS Studio, other common. FFmpeg. Perfect. Everything you need. Everything you need. That's it. Now, that comes, again, pre-installed. Because when you're running off of like a DVD or you're running off of the USB, unless you hard install that ISO onto that device, which the thumbstick is easiest to do that way, it's not going to keep memory of any kind. It's going to act brand new every time. And that's kind of the point here. Ubuntu allows you to do that without losing anything. So you could set your partition for your operating system for Ubuntu or Studio quite low compared to like needing for Windows. And that's in response to this right here. So the partition for your ISO and for memory could be much lower than what you would need for Windows. And this recommendations right here on the side was for Windows. And these two operating systems offer all of these plug and play, go as you need, save where you need it, but you have it. And that's kind of the point here, right? Whatever you have, you don't want to change. You just want to use something else in the meanwhile. And that's what these are going to allow you to do. So now installation. So installing pretty much all Linux is going to be almost exactly the same how you install it. You're going to have multiple different ways you can choose to do it. I'm going to show you this installation. Pretty much it covers you any way you want to go. And if you just search right up here on this page, right, if you just search here the operating system, as long as it's a, you know, a Linux operating system, it should pop up. And as you can see here, um, preparing your installation media is something a lot of people don't know how to do, which is making sure that what you have is what you're supposed to have. This is going to show you how to do that for, again, Windows and Mac or Linux. So whatever you got, they got you covered. Then you got to get it set up to go to the flash drive. Here's how you do it on Windows. Here's how you get it to DVD. Here's how you do the USB flash. Again, the DVD stuff. And they're even showing you like the pictures and everything. So step by step, they hold in your hand here, okay? They hold your hand here. Which I know a lot of people nowadays, that's what they want. They're like, I get told all the time, they say, I'll be like telling people, yeah, I covered that on my show, you should really watch it, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, oh, I ain't gonna do it, you know, you're always so technical. And I said, no, I get stuff that, my wife and other people I talk to, I talk with them, I show these things to them, they tell me, I don't understand, and I get very simple, easy to follow instructions for you guys, because that is what people need. They want to know that they're doing it right the first time, okay? And that's what these instructions are going to do. They're going to ensure you know what you're doing by directly pointing to the spot and saying, right here, see, like right here, okay? You got this page. See this little blue dot box? That's what you're clicking to get this option. Perfect. That's what I need to know. Okay. Well, like always, I think every time we've ever covered an operating system, I've given you guys a guide. I did it for Windows, I did it for Mac. I'm going to do it for Ubuntu. Yeah. I won't go over the guide, but it is pretty simple. You find a spot of something you need, or you don't know. If you don't know what you're needing, you might have to look around. For example, if you don't know what a terminal is, graphics design, or burning or ripping CDs and DVDs, not a lot of people know what that is. So, but then they give you information. Sometimes there's a sub-menu. So sometimes when you click on some of these, they give you another one of the menus. And you see I hit previous and it did not go back. It went to the previous option. You have to hit home to go to the previous, that one thing we were seeing earlier, this thing. And then I'm going to show you this again. If we hit multi-deck codexes, go to one of these. If you hit up, it will go up to, again, like I said, one of these little sub-menus. One of these little sub-menus then has more information, like, oh, there's Krita, that's what I'm looking for. Here's information on Krita now. Perfect. Awesome. And again, I want to go home, there we go. So, not a lot of people actually have ever used a BB board, and this is an actual BB board. This is what they look like, this is how they act, and this is how interacting with them really are. So, welcome to the olden days, back when I used to be king on the internet. So, yeah, that's why it's a little bit weird and unusual, but once you get used to it, it really is easy to understand, and it should be keyboard adjacent, meaning you can hit the left, right keys to go left and right, up, down keys to go up and down, hit home on home, and then page up, page down to really scroll the page. So, now you know, because BBs at one time existed before some people had mice on their computers. Here we go. Here is the wiki, like help guide, user guide, or whatever you want to call it there, for Studio. Now, if you look here, it actually has 3 wikis built into one. They got the user, the developer, and the community wiki all right here. So if you're at the wrong one, so I only want the user version of this. You could click that and go to it, or you just scroll down to the very first one, and then as you keep scrolling down, oh, actually it's the only one they got here. So you might actually have to go to the developer for the developer one. And I see that they got sub-menus here also. Yeah, I did notice at the very top it says under construction. The other day when I was first pulling this up, it had more, and it looked like some of that might have been removed. So keep that in mind. This is an actively being changed, altered, and corrected wiki. So anytime you see that going on, then you know their community is on point. And on point is what you want, because it's going to give you the right info. But there are some like I was reading how like some of the stuff made in this version of Linux and Ubuntu, this Ubuntu Studio, there's special stuff in here. So, for example, here's the audio handbook on how to handle audio in these specialty apps on Ubuntu Studio. Now, come on, I got you. Turns out they have the handbook also in their Ubuntu Wiki. Like, the actual book is just here. So, there you go, for free, I think. So, yeah. Each section, not each page, but each section is linked. And I didn't even know they had pictures. Oh my gosh. They must have just put these in. Hell yeah. Okay, and now with pictures. Awesome. So yeah, like I said, these are the best guides you're going to get, my friends. Now, I'm really hoping you can understand why there are people out there that love Linux. Once they find the version or a method of using Linux that works for them, they will almost always stick to it, even when it's outdated. I've seen people use versions of Linux because they're like, I don't care. It's my version. More. And they just hand update all of their firmware because they know their version of Linux also works with some other one. Like, for example, the one we are talking about, both versions work with almost all Ubuntu um, uh, firmware. So if you don't find firmware specifically for your version or flavor of Ubuntu, look to see if they have that see if they have that firmware for the base Ubuntu operating system. If so, it should work or might work, may work in your specific Ubuntu version. It might not always, keep that in mind. I have come across ones where, like speaker ones, and I actually have one messing up my monitor sometimes. And I say it that way because when I run into Linux, one of my monitors, I got four, one of my monitors does not work right. It's always trying to go into the wrong hertz, but I run it live, so it's not installed on the computer. So you know what I do when I just get tired of it messing around and not working right? I exit out, go back to my thing, and when I'm ready to get back to it, I get back to it and deal with it. Eventually, I'll find the right driver that works. That's how I look at it. Eventually, I'm going to find the right one. But even on my Windows computer, I have the exact same problem. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because I know I've talked about it before in the show. I've exclusively been trying to figure out exactly the real reason, and no one seems to really understand why. But even my Windows that natively came on this computer does the exact same thing that is happening in Linux. And so what I'm saying is the reason why there are so many people loving Linux is because when they have problems on Linux, I normally almost always have that same problem on Windows too. And then you realize it's most likely a hardware problem and less likely the actual operating system. So when you are running Linux and you are trying these USBs and you are doing these things and you are then changing your productivity to max out like none other, well, then I hope you remember that all this came because you just gave it a try. Remember, we're talking about using it live. We're talking about putting it on the thumbstick, plugging it in, restart the computer. When it says you want to install, you said, no, I want to try live. And just do it that way. Store somewhere else on a different hard drive or in a different set of the partition on that USB. And this will allow you to truly take these different things and explode. Using Ubuntu really will help you get out of the distractions, and they will, you know, I know before we've talked about like the algos and how to exit them. Imagine having an operating system that's not even involved with any of that. You're going into a workflow method with Ubuntu that's going to allow you to just automatically exit those algos. And because it's just not involved with it. Studio, another one that's really awesome because that just completely cuts everything else out directly out of the box. It's ready to go with what you need. Only other thing you need is your actual files, and you have that on your other hard drive, so you're good to go. Using these operating systems as USB, it may seem dumb or clunky at first, but eventually you'll just get used to the work and letting this happen. For example, a lot of people that use this method, they'll load one up in the AM. They'll have it set up their computer automatically checks USB. and they'll make sure that it's the one they need plugged in for daily work is plugged in first. When they come in and turn on the computer in the AM to go make their coffee, it loads up their Linux operating system, Ubuntu. Okay, now they're doing this stuff like normal. Guess what? It's about lunchtime. You're actually done with your work for now. All I gotta do now is my content work. Now I gotta work on the actual content. Gotta edit these videos. Got this other stuff set up. I've done my business stuff. Okay, business side done. Let's go have lunch. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna tell the computer to restart. All right, but you're gonna tell it when it restarts. USB. All right, you're gonna well, actually, you're in Ubuntu. What am I talking about? You're just going to tell the computer to shut down. You're going to shut down the computer. You're going to unplug that USB drive. You're going to plug in the other USB drive that has Studio or the one that has your DVD, and then you're going to turn it on. You're going to go to lunch. When you come back, Studio is going to be up and running and waiting on you. And guess what? You just tell it that you're ready to go live, and it's going to pop in. It's going to, bloop, I'm here. Let's do this. And you're going to go straight to work. And you're going to forget about the distractions. You're going to be fed. You're going to be ready. You're going to be wanting to get into it. And you're going to be able to. I'm talking about simple and easy stuff. And guess what? At the end of the workday, you shut down Studio. You unplug the thumb drive. Put it in your little whatever with the, your niche box or whatnot. And then you just turn the computer back on. And then you go in, you have fun, be bored, go to social media, do whatever it is you normally do. Because you're ready. Your personal life is no longer mixing with your business life. Like with Linux, you really can have an operating system for every day, mood, gender, or event, because there's a Linux flavor for everyone. It's just a matter of finding yours.